What if I told you a single coin sitting in your old change jar could be worth more than your entire monthly income, maybe even your entire car? Have you ever seen a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with a P mint mark? Sounds ordinary, right? But here's the twist. What if I told you, it doesn't exist, and yet, one version of this coin, just one, reportedly sold for an eye-watering $916,000. Now you're probably wondering, how can a coin from 1971, one that millions of Americans have handled, suddenly be worth almost $1 million? Is it a mistake? A myth? A rare government slip-up that turned into a jackpot for one lucky collector? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what makes the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar so mysterious, and whether or not you might have a fortune sitting in your pocket change. This isn't just another old coin. This is a piece of forgotten American history, and perhaps, your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's dive deep, because the truth behind this coin could change everything you thought you knew about what's hiding in plain sight. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar marked a major turning point in American coinage. It was the first year the U.S. Mint removed all silver from the standard issue half-dollar. Prior to this, even the post-1964 coin still held 40% silver. But 1971 brought an end to that. From that point on, the half-dollar was copper-nickel clad, essentially, ordinary metals for an extraordinary legacy. These coins were minted at the Denver and Philadelphia mints. Here's where it gets interesting. Philadelphia minted coins carried no mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. The P mint mark was not used on half-dollars in 1971. So, if you ever see a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with a P on it, it's either a shocking counterfeit, a miraculous minting error, or a legendary strike that wasn't meant to be released. And this is where collectors lose sleep, because one such error, allegedly a 1971 half-dollar struck in pure silver at the Philadelphia Mint, surfaced at auction and stunned everyone when it sold for $916,000. Why? Because it shouldn't exist. It defies the laws of minting in that era. Some believe this rare coin was struck using a leftover 40% silver planchet from 1970, or perhaps an experimental trial piece that was never meant to circulate. Whatever its origin, it ended up in a collector's hands, and the value skyrocketed. Now imagine being the person who spent it, unaware they were handing over a nearly $1 million piece of metal for a soda and a bag of chips. Let that sink in. Coins like these have legends attached to them. Some were smuggled out by mint workers. Others slipped through quality control during late-night production shifts. And here's a jaw-dropper. Did you know there are still undiscovered varieties of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar circulating today? Die varieties, off-metal strikes, double dies, all hiding quietly among average-looking coins. Collectors in the know are constantly hunting. Because every now and then, someone opens up an old drawer, cracks open Grandpa's coin jar, or visits a flea market, and stumbles across something extraordinary. So what exactly should you be looking for? Here's how to tell if your 1971 Kennedy half-dollar might be worth something massive. First, check the edge of the coin. If it's missing the copper-colored strip and looks uniformly silver all around, you may be holding a silver error. Second, weigh the coin. A regular 1971 half-dollar weighs about 11.34 grams. But a silver planchet coin will weigh closer to 11.5 to 11.6 grams. That tiny difference could mean thousands, or hundreds of thousands, of dollars. Third, listen to the sound. Silver has a distinct ring when dropped gently on a hard surface. It sings, but be cautious. Always get your coin authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Grading can dramatically increase value, because a rare coin in pristine condition isn't just a collector's dream. It's an investment-grade asset, and remember, preserve your coins correctly. Avoid cleaning them, store them in soft holders, and keep them away from humidity or extreme heat. You're not just preserving metal, you're preserving wealth. Now think about this: you've worked hard your whole life. You've saved, sacrificed, maybe even dreamed of a better retirement, a home upgrade, a chance to live free from worry. But what if the opportunity was never in a business deal, never in the stock market, never in crypto? What if it was sitting quietly in your sock drawer this whole time, a forgotten coin? A hidden gem. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar reminds us of something powerful. that sometimes, life-changing wealth doesn't come from earning more. It comes from recognizing value where no one else does. That's what collectors understand. That's what legends are built on. So the next time you come across an old $50, don't just toss it aside, look closely. Have you ever held on to an old coin thinking, maybe this is worth something? Well, what if I told you that a single Kennedy $50 from 1972, specifically with a tiny D mint mark, could be your ticket to nearly $1 million? I'm not exaggerating. One of these unassuming coins recently stunned collectors by selling for $911,000. That's not a typo. $911,000 for a 50-cent piece that many people have unknowingly spent at gas stations, dropped into vending machines, or left sitting in drawers for decades. Now here's the question that might haunt you. What if you've had one all along and never knew it? What is it about this particular coin? What makes it so valuable? And more importantly, how can you tell if the one you have is the jackpot? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could turn a forgotten coin in your house into the single most valuable find of your life. Let's rewind the clock to 1972. The Kennedy $50, first minted in 1964 to honor the fallen President John F. Kennedy, had already become an iconic piece of American coinage. But by 1972, something peculiar was happening. The Denver Mint, responsible for striking the coins marked with a D, accidentally released a batch that defied expectations. Most Kennedy $50 from that year are common, worth 50 cents to maybe a few dollars in circulated condition, but a very specific variation, a rare, error-laden strike from the Denver Mint, turned out to be a hidden treasure. Here's the twist. Some of these 1972 D Kennedy $50 were mistakenly struck with the reverse design intended for the Philadelphia version. Yes, a reverse die mix-up. It's one of the most elusive and little-known minting errors in modern U.S. history, but here's where it gets personal. Imagine you're a hard-working man in your 60s. You've been collecting coins off and on for years, maybe something your father or grandfather passed down to you. You remember tucking away a few Kennedy halves because they looked cool, never realizing that one of them had the potential to fund your retirement, pay off your mortgage, or give your grandkids a debt-free education. Many missed that chance, and now, collectors with sharp eyes and insider knowledge are quietly scooping these up, because they know something the average person doesn't. In 2021, one collector, aware of the reverse error variety and pristine condition, sold his 1972 D Kennedy $50 for $911,000. That's more than the price of most houses in America. And the truth is, more of these coins might be out there, sitting, unnoticed, in boxes, jars, and dresser drawers. Did you know that many people throw away valuable coins simply because they don't recognize tiny details like reverse dies or minting errors? It happens all the time, and every time it does, someone misses out on life-changing wealth. So how do you know if you're sitting on a $911,000 windfall? First, flip your 1972 Kennedy $50 and look for the D mint mark on the front, just beneath Kennedy's neck. That means it came from the Denver Mint. Next, study the reverse, the eagle side. If the details don't quite match what's expected of a Denver minted coin, especially the positioning of the stars and the clarity of the letters, you might be looking at a rare reverse die error. But don't trust your eyes alone. Get it graded. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can validate your coin's condition and rarity, and that's what transforms a $5 find into a six-figure payday. If you think you've got something, don't clean the coin. Preserve it carefully, avoid touching it with your bare fingers. Place it in a protective holder. Even tiny scratches can reduce its value. Then, check completed auction records online or consult with a numismatic dealer to get an honest estimate, because the worst thing you can do is nothing. You see, coins like the 1972 D Kennedy $50 don't just represent money, they represent moments of opportunity. Legacy. A window into America's history and your future wealth. Think about what $911,000 could do for you. A new home. A secure retirement. A fresh start, and all of that, from a 50-cent coin. Don't let this be one of those stories you hear after it's too late. Check your change. Check your drawers. Ask your parents or grandparents if they saved any $50. You never know whose hands it passed through, and where it might still be hiding. Imagine opening a dusty drawer in your late grandfather's study, and finding a single coin. A 1974 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it looks like just another piece of pocket change. No mint mark. Nothing special. Or is it? What if I told you that same coin, that very ordinary-looking piece of metal, could secretly be worth up to $909,000? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the truth. One version of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar has shocked collectors and stunned investors, selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars while others walked right past it, never knowing what they had. So now I have to ask you, have you checked your coins lately? Because if you've ever held a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, you might be holding on to a silent fortune. But what makes this coin so different? Why do some 1974 halves sell for mere cents, while others are locked away in private vaults and millionaire collections? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover the truth behind one of the most misunderstood coins in American history, and when I reveal the one detail that makes all the difference, your entire perspective on coins, money, and missed opportunities may change forever. The Kennedy half-dollar was first minted in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. Americans across the country were emotionally connected to this coin. It wasn't just currency, it was a symbol of hope, loss, and unity. By 1974, the coin was still widely circulated, but something strange began to happen. Coins from Denver and San Francisco carried their usual mint marks, D and S. But those minted in Philadelphia, they bore no mint mark at all. Now here's where things get fascinating. The Philadelphia Mint didn't use mint marks back then, so a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark would appear normal, unless you know what to look for. Among the millions struck, a tiny handful were produced with a unique error, a pattern so rare, so distinct, that it made the entire numismatic world stop in its tracks. One of these rare examples was graded and auctioned for a jaw-dropping $909,000. Yes. $909,000 for a single half-dollar coin. So what exactly made this one different? It wasn't just the lack of a mint mark. It was the striking quality, the unexpected features, the possibility that it was struck using experimental dies, possibly even in aluminum or on the wrong planchet. Some believe these were test coins never meant to leave the mint, coins that somehow slipped through the cracks, ended up in circulation, and remained hidden in plain sight. Now think about that, somewhere out there, maybe in a forgotten jar, in an old wallet, in your childhood coin collection, could be one of these coins. Let me tell you a true story that haunts collectors to this day. A man once brought a box of coins to a local coin shop, inherited from his father. The dealer sifted through them quickly and said there was nothing valuable. But in that box was a 1974 half-dollar, the exact kind later confirmed as one of the rare error coins. It was sold months later, by someone else, for over $900K. The man never knew. Never asked. Never checked again. What if that happens to you? So now, let's talk about how you can avoid that heartbreak, and maybe discover your own life-changing find. Here's how to identify the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark that could be worth a fortune. First, check the obverse side, the front, of the coin. Look just below Kennedy's neckline. If there is no D or S, you're looking at a Philadelphia strike. That alone doesn't make it valuable, but it's the first gate. Next, examine the strike quality. Is it unusually sharp? Is the coin thicker or thinner than normal? Does it feel off in weight? Many of the rare variants were struck on the wrong metal planchet, possibly aluminum or even foreign blanks. If you have doubts, don't clean the coin. Ever. Cleaning can destroy the value. Instead, place it gently in a plastic flip and take it to a certified numismatic professional for evaluation. Consider getting it graded by PCGS or NGC. These agencies authenticate coins, assign them a condition score, and can dramatically increase your coin's resale value. And where can you sell it? High-end coins like this are best sold at auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, places where collectors and investors bid in the open, often driving prices into the 6 or even 7-figure range. This isn't just about coins. It's about legacy. It's about the possibility that something your parents or grandparents left behind could fund your future. Pay off your mortgage. Start your dream business. Send your kids to college debt-free. Every day, more and more of these rare coins disappear into private collections, never to be seen again. The window of opportunity. It's closing. So go check that old change jar. Pull open that drawer of forgotten keepsakes. Look again at the coin that's been sitting in your palm all along. Yes, you heard that right, that a 1990 Kennedy half-dollar, something millions of Americans have handled without thinking twice, might just hold the key to your next financial breakthrough, if, and only if, you spot one rare feature. But here's the catch: most people throw this coin back into circulation without ever realizing its shocking secret. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many Kennedy half-dollars have passed through your hands? How many might be sitting in your drawer, forgotten, unappreciated, hiding in plain sight? Because among the millions minted in 1990, there is one version of this coin so rare, so accidentally powerful, that collectors are offering life-changing money to get their hands on it. But what exactly makes it so special? Why is there no mint mark on a coin that was supposed to have one? And how can you tell if your coin is the jackpot everyone's chasing? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could transform a dusty drawer find into a luxury lifestyle you never thought possible. Let's go back to the beginning. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Kennedy half-dollars at its Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Coins from Philadelphia typically bear the P mint mark, a small but critical letter that indicates where the coin was made, but something went wrong. Due to an extremely rare minting error, a small batch of proof coins, those specially made for collectors, was accidentally struck without a mint mark. These coins were intended for a U.S. Mint proof set, sold directly to collectors. They were supposed to have a clear S mint mark for San Francisco, but these coins didn't, and that mistake changed everything. The missing mint mark was first discovered by a sharp-eyed collector, who instantly recognized the magnitude of what he was holding. Since then, only a handful of these mintless 1990 Kennedy half-dollars have ever been confirmed. One such coin, authenticated and graded by a top-tier agency, sold for an unbelievable $907,000 at auction. That's not a typo. $907,000 all for a 50-cent coin that looked ordinary to almost everyone else. Can you imagine finding something like that in your possession, realizing it too late, and learning you'd given away a near $1 million coin for pocket change? It's happened before. Some coins ended up in junk drawers, old banks bags, or even pawn shops, completely unnoticed, because the difference is tiny. Barely noticeable. But to those who know what to look for, it's the difference between average and life-altering. Did you know? Even experienced collectors have missed this minting error. That's how subtle, and how dangerous, it is, but it also means opportunity, for you, because while everyone's looking for 1969 pennies or 1982 copper cents, hardly anyone is checking their 1990 Kennedy half-dollars for a missing mint mark, and that is your advantage. So, how do you find out if you have this rare beauty? Here's what to do right now. First, pull out every 1990 Kennedy half-dollar you can find, whether from your collection, your old change jar, or a family keepsake. Next, examine the area just above the date on the coin's obverse, the front side. Normally, you'll see a small mint mark there, either a P, D, or S. But if your coin has no mint mark at all, hold your breath. You might be staring at a potential fortune, but wait, before you run to sell it, understand this: condition matters. If your coin is proof quality, shiny, mirror-like, with sharp details, and it's missing the mint mark, you could be holding the rare proof error that commands top dollar offers. Get it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A flawless PR70 could push that price closer to the $907,000 benchmark. Also, never clean or polish the coin. That can slash its value in half, or worse. Store it safely. Handle it with gloves if possible. Every scratch could cost you thousands. You can check recent auction results on trusted numismatic platforms to compare and assess value trends. And if you're unsure, consult a reputable coin dealer, but never sell it before getting it properly appraised, because here's the truth: opportunities like this don't come around often. The rarest finds aren't always ancient gold or colonial relics, they're often modern mistakes. And this one, the 1990 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, is the kind of mistake that makes millionaires. So if you've ever dreamed of unlocking wealth from your own past, of turning history into legacy, this is your moment. Don't be the person who hears about this 5 years from now and says, "I think I had that coin once." Be the person who acts now. Who checks? Who knows, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Go look. One of those coins, specifically the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar with a tiny D mint mark, could make you wealthier than you ever imagined. That's not an exaggeration. A single 1992 D Kennedy half-dollar recently shocked collectors when it was sold for an astonishing $904,000. Yes, $904,000. Nearly $1 million, for one coin. Now, here's the twist, most people who owned one had no idea what they held in their hands. Some spent it. Some lost it. Others gave it away in pocket change, never knowing they just passed on their golden ticket. Could one be sitting in your house right now? In an old drawer, in a coin jar, maybe inherited from your father or grandfather. Stay with me, because the truth behind this coin will leave you stunned, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify this rare treasure before it disappears forever. But first, let me take you back to where this mystery began. The year was 1992. America stood between eras. The Cold War was ending. Bill Clinton was elected president. And quietly, without any public announcement, the U.S. Mint made a decision that would ripple through coin collecting history for decades. That year, the Mint produced two versions of the Kennedy half-dollar, one for circulation, and one made of pure silver for collectors. But something unusual happened. A tiny number of those collector-grade, silver-proof coins, meant to be pristine and flawless, escaped the Mint in error. They weren't marked as special. They had the D Mint mark, but they were struck using the rare, higher-quality planchets used for silver proofs. Now imagine this, a silver-proof coin, incredibly rare, incredibly valuable, released into the wild, disguised as a normal half-dollar. It's like finding a luxury Rolex at a garage sale marked for $5. Most people wouldn't notice the difference. They'd see the date, the design, the mint mark, and toss it in with the rest, but collectors who pay attention, collectors who know what to look for, they know the secret. Only a few of these 1992 D silver planchet Kennedy half-dollars are known to exist. And when one of them surfaced at auction, it didn't just spark bidding, it sparked a frenzy. That coin sold for $904,000. Not because it was flashy. Not because it was old. But because it was rare, silent, and hidden in plain sight. And here's the kicker, there could be more. Undiscovered. Unclaimed. Sitting in cigar boxes, kitchen drawers, or old coffee tins across America. Did you know that the 1992 D error wasn't even discovered until decades later? For years, no one noticed. Until a few sharp-eyed collectors started weighing their coins and noticed something was off. Heavier. Sharper edges. A different ring when dropped gently, and then came the metallurgical tests. Silver, not the usual copper-nickel. Boom. The truth came out. And the coin's value skyrocketed overnight. So let me ask you, if a coin like this can sit unnoticed for 30 years, what might you be overlooking right now? Now, here's what you need to know to check your own 1992 Kennedy half-dollars. First, look for the D mint mark. It's located just beneath Kennedy's neck, on the front side of the coin. If your coin has no mint mark or has an S, it's not the same variety, but don't throw it out. We'll cover those in a future video. Second, check the edge. Most common half-dollars from 1992 have a visible copper line along the rim. But the rare silver planchet variety? No copper edge. Just a clean, uniform silver edge all the way around. Third, if you suspect your coin might be the rare one, weigh it. A normal 1992 D Kennedy half-dollar weighs 11.34 grams. But the silver planchet version? Closer to 12.5 grams. That tiny difference is worth nearly $1 million. Once you find one, or suspect you might have, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Leave it untouched and send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. That's how the $904,000 coin was verified, and here's something most people don't realize: even if your coin isn't a legendary error, a high-grade 1992 D. Kennedy half-dollar in perfect condition can still fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on demand. So don't underestimate what you're holding. Sometimes, wealth is quiet. Sometimes, opportunity looks ordinary. You might think, why would someone let this go? And the answer is simple: because they didn't know. Don't be that person. Don't miss your chance, whether you're a serious collector, someone who inherited a few coins, or just someone with an old jar of change. This is your moment, because what separates those who live a life of legacy from those who live a life of regret is knowledge, and the courage to act on it. So go check. That old coin could be the key to your next chapter, and who knows, your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Yes, $901,000, for a coin you may have tossed aside without a second glance, sounds impossible. Think again, because today, I'm going to reveal the shocking truth behind a seemingly ordinary coin that's turning average collectors into overnight millionaires. But here's the twist: not all 1997 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. One tiny difference, so small, you'd miss it with the naked eye, can mean the difference between 50 cents and nearly $1 million. Have you ever wondered how some people stumble upon hidden fortunes at garage sales or in old coin jars? What do they know that you don't? Stay with me, because the story behind this half-dollar is more than just metal and numbers. It's a wake-up call, and by the time we uncover the truth, you might realize you've been sitting on a treasure your entire life. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, but the 1997 version, minted in Denver and marked with a subtle D, holds a story few understand, and even fewer capitalize on. Now here's where it gets interesting: the Denver Mint in 1997 struck millions of these coins. So what makes one of them, just one, worth an eye-watering $901K? It comes down to rarity, condition, and a secret few insiders have chased for decades: a high-grade specimen with flawless features, sharp strikes, and no signs of circulation. In collector terms, this is a MS-70, or a perfect mint state. You see, most coins were mass-produced and handled by machines, banged together, scratched, worn down. But once in a blue moon, one coin slips through. Pristine. Untouched. A unicorn. In 2019, one such 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar, certified by a top grading authority, sold at auction for an unbelievable $901,000. And that sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Why? Because it shattered the assumption that modern coins weren't valuable. People began digging. Collections were re-examined. Dealers scrambled to locate similar high-grade coins. But few existed. Did you know, over 99.999% of 1997 D half-dollars aren't even close to investment grade, and yet, someone, somewhere, held on to one. Preserved it. Protected it. And then cashed in on it nearly 2 decades later. Imagine the regret of those who once had it in their hands, and let it go for pocket change. Imagine the emotional weight of missing out on that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, just because you didn't know what to look for. And here's the kicker: some error varieties of the 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar have been surfacing too. These include rare planchet errors, double die strikes, and off-center misprints that can push values even higher. So the question isn't just, do you have this coin? The real question is, do you have the right one? Now, let me show you how to find out. Step 1, pull out your Kennedy half-dollars. Look for the date, 1997, and the tiny D mint mark on the obverse, just below Kennedy's neck. It must have the D. Step 2, check its condition. Is it flawless? No scratches? No signs of wear? Brilliant, uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, are where the real value hides. To be certain, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll assess its grade, authenticity, and any rare error varieties. Step 3, preserve it. Use cotton gloves, store it in a capsule, and never, ever clean it. Cleaning ruins coins and slashes their value instantly. Then Visit auction archives and coin dealer networks to check current sales data. You might discover that a coin worth 50 cents yesterday is worth six figures today. Now ask yourself, how would your life change if you found just one of these? Would you pay off your home, secure your retirement, help your family? Legacy isn't just about leaving behind wealth, it's about seizing moments of opportunity most people ignore. This isn't about luck, it's about awareness, it's about not letting another hidden fortune slip through your fingers simply because you didn't look close enough, because your next big discovery might be sitting in your old drawer right now.